Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 8, Episode 4.
How y'all doing?
Good.
I said, how y'all doing? How was y'all week, man? Man, y'all had me in the comments this week. What? Y'all had me in the comments. Oh, I was getting beat up in the comments this week. You know what I mean? But it's okay, though, because I fight back. I'll fight back. You know what I mean? Listen here. I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment. You ready, Blair?
I'm ready.
Walk us through this episode, please.
Okay, so the first scene, we see Kimmy on the phone with the architect. It sounds like they're working on some type of restaurant. And then Tisha walks in. Tisha wants to make sure that Marsau doing the restaurant doesn't affect their relationship as far as, you know, friends, family. Kimmy knows that she's annoying because she likes things done in a certain time frame. And they also only have a certain amount of time frame, I guess, for the opening for the restaurant that they want to have. Yeah. Tisha says, you know, as long as we're on budget, things should be fine.
Stop right here for a second, right? I want to talk about the direction of the show.
Okay.
You realize that this was kind of like a prelude to like the main thing that they was going to talk about.
Right.
You realize that we don't talk about business on this show anymore.
Barely. And
I would love to hear about what they're talking about. Yeah. Besides in vague terms. Right. You get what I'm saying? They talking about a budget. They talking about Kimmy's like, I know I can be basically I sure can expect a lot and like demand a lot and things like that. And I'm like, oh, we are about to get some business, but even then we didn't get enough. Right. We hearing the blurring of basically business names on a show that basically started off as a business show with 5 friends, 6 friends, whatever number, right? Yeah. So to hear them talk about this for like 15 to 40 seconds and then to hear them basically wait till Destiny show up for them to shoot their scene and talk about whatever they talking about for 4 minutes. I'm like, you blue balls me. You get what I'm saying? But how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of trying to piece together what they were saying. Yeah. So it would have been nice to get like a full explanation of the restaurant they're creating, what kind of food are they trying to serve, what's the reason behind doing it. Like, it would have been nice to kind of like stay in that and allow that to be part of the storyline, which it's like it's kind of tricking me to think it is, but I don't really know because I think Maurice was talking to Marcel about a new building they were doing, and I don't know if that's the same as the restaurant. So they're not really making it clear, but it's like I want to know like what they've got going on. So
something. Yeah. But I guess whatever.
Well, Destiny arrives, and they're asking her about how she feels about the Sunny and Moses situation, how she's feeling, and she's choosing to look on the bright side. Okay. Tisha tells Destiny that they met up with Sunny, and Kimmy explains why. She says that Sunny was there when she was going through her biopsy and her diagnosis, and she was really surprised to hear what happened, so she wanted to ask Sunny point blank directly, like, what the F? What was going on? And Kimmy asked Destiny pretty much like, do you feel the same way? Like, are you more upset about her being in production or being kind of a close friend? Like, where are you coming from? And Destiny explains that Sunny was let go for production. And after the show, Sunny was sending text messages saying, I love you and hey sis and all this type of stuff. Yeah. And apparently Sunny and her had such a relationship that Sunny's sister invited Destiny to Mexico for Sunny's surprise birthday. That sounds more than just a hi-bye work relationship to me. Yeah. Kimmy thinks that they should sit down and talk.
Destiny and Sunny.
I think Destiny, Sunny, and Moses is what I gathered. Okay. Destiny was confused at first because she thought Moses and Sunny were cousins, but when Sunny sent her the text message that they were getting close as in a relationship, Destiny just blocked her. Wow. Okay. And I think that's kind of where Destiny messed up. Really? Yeah. Just for the sake of the show. In real life, if you want to block her, be like, you know what, both of y'all out my lives, it really doesn't matter. Fine. And Destiny was not on the show at that point, so I can understand why she did that. Yeah. But it does kind of make for a lackluster story in a way. Okay. But Kimmy tells her, you know, that Mel actually was in your defense when we ended up talking to Mel about the situation.
That word Mel, you saw how Destiny eyes kind of went a little bit, right?
So Tisha tells us in the confessional that she's really not going to bring up how Mel insinuated that Destiny might have slept with Martell. Smart. Pretty much, let's just kind of keep things on a good note.
Yeah, because she's like, listen, this girl already going through enough.
Yes.
You know?
Kimmy's goal is just that she would like everyone to be able to get together and for things to be cool, including Destiny and Mel. So then they're going back and forth as far as, well, Tisha, you and Stormi have your situation. Can y'all be in a room? Can y'all be cool and all this type of stuff? And Tisha really believes that Stormi owes her husband an apology.
Yeah.
And pretty much they both say like, okay, we'll sit down and have a conversation with our respective people. Did they say that? Or no, they both said that they won't.
No.
Yeah, they're just like, that's not going to happen.
No, they said, to be more specific, that basically Destiny said she'll burn it down.
Yeah.
Right, to be specific. What are your thoughts on the scene, Blair?
I don't know. I really don't have too many thoughts on it. I kind of feel like it was a lot of rehashing, which makes it feel like a filler episode where it's just like, well, we're going to tell Destiny about meeting up with Sunny and we're going to tell Destiny about meeting up with Mel. And as the viewer, we're just like, we saw it happen. We don't need you to retell the situation, but we get that we got to bring Destiny into the fold. And I don't really have much to say other than people aren't on good terms. I mean, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
One thing that I don't like so much about Tisha, you miss your moment. I feel like Tisha re-watches the show and then be like, oh, this is what I should have did. This is what I should have did. This is what I should have did. And then she comes in the next season on 10.
Okay.
Because it's like, I'm going to make up for what I missed last season. Listen, you should have demanded an apology from Stormi last season. You get what I'm saying? You missed your moment. As much as I do not side with Stormi when it comes to how she was calling Marsau out his name and disrespecting him and things of that nature, you miss your moment, right? And just because you watch it and you're like, I'm going to come in and basically like, I'm not friends with Stormi, it's like, okay, cool. You know, how I feel about Kimmy, I think Kimmy have a... By Kimmy not... Here's the thing. I do not want Kimmy to say... I'll put this. I don't need Kimmy to pick a side, but it always seemed like she plays the neutral side, right? And it kind of leads me to desire, what do Kimmy actually think? Because what happens is when you're the one that's playing mediator, when no one asks you to, it kind of leaves me in the dark on what Kimmy thinks. She just like, I just want to get everybody together so we all can like be together and get things squared away. No, what do you think about this situation, Kimmy? What do you think about the situation with your sister-in-law and things like that? Like, what do you think about the Mel situation? It just gives off as if she just want things to just be like, you know what, let's just make sure things are good. Where it's like in real life, if someone took your man, or like if someone called your husband this, or if y'all had a friendship and now y'all have a falling out to where one woman is basically saying, I don't know if she slept with my ex-husband. Like, what do you think, Kimmy? You get what I'm saying? It leads me to desire more what you actually think than the actual, like, you know, we all just need to come together, kumbaya.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
Let's move on.
So Martell meets up with Nell. Nell explains that she didn't agree with Martell going to jail.
Yeah.
But she did have more conversation with Mel and found out what the root cause of the issue was with the revenge situation.
Yeah.
So he said that pretty much he never said he was going to release any type of revenge situation. And Mel and another person, his side chick, was talking about a video coming out. He said he sent her a picture. So he shows Nell the text from 2022. There was no picture in the thread, which he must have deleted.
Maybe.
Nell tells him that it needs to stop. And she explains that they need to think of their kids. And she's saying that she is getting backlash from her situation and that the kids, as they get older, they're going to pick sides and they're going to feel a type of way.
Yeah.
So when she found out that Chris was married, she left him alone. But he was actually separated and divorce papers were drawn up.
Yeah.
Pretty much Martell is like kind of making jokes talking about, well, you were a side chick. I mean, they blurred out the word, but pretty much like you were a side chick. And she's just like, I was not. And now in the confessional, it's just like Martell is treating all this like a game, just the way he treated his wife and his family. Well, Nell has chosen to invite Mel to her birthday party and not Martell. And she lets him know, like, situations like this, it really does cause a divide and makes us pick a side.
Yeah.
And I'm choosing Mel in this moment. And Martell in the confessional says, F that party. He don't need to go anyway. He don't care about that. And that's pretty much where we leave that scene.
Yeah. He basically said, I don't want to go to no old people party anyway, right? The thing about Martell, which is tricky with him, is... he's over here talking about some, like, I'm not the bully. He keep calling Mel the bully, which I don't understand. If someone is basically making your life a living hell, Martell over and over again, because Nell is like, y'all keep having this tennis match where y'all just going back and forth, and Martell is like, no, she does something, and then the one thing I do, then all of a sudden y'all look at me crazy. No, because the one thing you did was crazy.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? Like I don't. He's out of touch with reality. That's why I really feel like this is last season, because everybody is basically separating themselves from him. To the point to where he will always play the victim, which I don't even understand how he even gets to play the victim as if they started off divorced. You was married at one time, brother.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? This was your woman. This was your basically your partner, the mother of your kids. And you caused this situation, and you're the one who made it worse. So I don't understand how he don't even see that. When it comes to Nell being the side chick and things of that nature, that is a situation to where it's really a non-story. It's really a non-factor, right? I feel like that is just the side effect of being on a show now.
Yeah.
You know, you're on the show, you're a full cast member, and it's a shame that that's coming from inside your camp and things like that. But it just shows that, listen, people go do things for clout. People go do things of that nature. She already said she's been married to Chris for over 25 years.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, it really doesn't matter. It did make me look at Martell kind of strange, and I'm like, if this is if Nell and Chris were supposed to be basically your friends and things like that, and you making fun of something that she takes seriously, it just shows that you don't even like you're out of touch, and you're giving people more ammo to really not fool with you.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. My thoughts about it, I was thrown off by the scene of why she had to even meet up with Martell, to be honest.
Same.
I would expect Chris, which he does end up meeting up with Martell, but I would expect Chris to kind of be the one to more so hold Martell accountable, especially since we've seen in previous seasons how Martell can get disrespectful with Nell and start yelling and all this type of stuff. And for Chris to have to go behind Martell and pretty much tell him, hey, you need to correct how you talk to my wife. So to me, from situations like that, I'm just kind of like, well, why do they need one-on-ones? But I guess we're still going with the story that they're both friends with Mel and Martell. So, I mean, okay.
I mean, I honestly didn't see a problem with it. Even when Nell and Martell was going at each other, I honestly didn't see a problem with it. I saw it as two friends going at each other.
Okay.
At the end of the day, she do view, or at least did at one point view, Martell as a friend.
Yeah.
To the point to where she's like, I'm not comfortable with basically you sending him to jail. So even if we accept it or not, I feel like she had no reason to meet with him to tell him that he can't come to the party.
Yeah.
That was kind of like, okay, not that. The fact that you are basically, I'm going on last episode now, that Nell is like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, well, call one of your friends.
Yeah.
Like, call Mel and call Martell to see what's going on. So I do agree with, like, this scene for basically telling me that I'm not invited to a party is kind of like, okay, besides seeking clarification like Chris did.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Even though Chris came there and he was like, you know, you got to apologize to my wife. She ain't no side chick. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, he wanted to know what's going on with this whole thing.
Yeah.
My wife telling me one thing, she telling me it's a video, and then it's a text, and it's a picture of a video. It's like, and then we see Martell basically chase his tail. You know what I mean? But let's continue. We will get there.
Yeah. Well, to finish, what my thoughts about for the scene is pretty much just like, and even trying to talk to Martell about the situation, as far as Nell tried to ask like what was going on. He showed her the text messages. Like, you're not going to get a real honest, true answer out of Martell. And even all his facial reactions and all this stuff when she was explaining to him basically the truth of what was happening, it's like, Martell, we can see through you. Like, you're not fooling anybody.
Pretty much.
You're not fooling anybody. And for her basically revealing to him about the hardship she's having with her stepdaughter because of the situation that happened years ago, he really should take heed to it, but he don't take heed to nothing, and that's why he's in the situation he's in. So
you can't talk to him, man.
Yeah, you really can't.
Hold on to y'all pearls, man. You know.
So moving on, Marsau and Maurice are at Black. They invite Moses to come over to hang out, so they can kind of try to get a feel on him and his situation.
Yeah.
So he says things just didn't work out with him and Destiny. Maurice thinks that the break with Destiny should have been more clear. And Maurice explains that when he left his marriage, he left the marital home a year before he had papers filed, and then he met Kimmy. And they still call Kimmy a side chick.
Yeah.
Maurice is basically saying that Moses should meet and sit down with Destiny in a way to clear Sunny's name, so that way people don't come after her and comments and all these types of things, saying that she was a side chick. And Marsau is telling him that these comments, they do eventually penetrate. Like, you think that you're fine now and it doesn't matter, but it can become overwhelming. And Marsau reveals that he almost lost his marriage due to a lot of the hoopla. He said the last time he told someone something of this gravity was pretty much Martell. And he says it's going to rain. And Moses says where he comes from, it rained all his life, and he's different than Martell. Maurice thinks Moses and Sunny. Oh, we already talked about that.
No, it's okay. Please go over it so like you can refresh my memory as well too, please.
Well, yeah, Maurice thinks Moses and Sunny should meet up with Destiny, and Marsau disagrees.
That is a big point that I want to point out. Keep going.
Moses doesn't think he owes Destiny anything, but he doesn't mind talking to Destiny. Moses is also saying Sunny could be pregnant any day now. They got married. The next day they did IVF.
Yeah, your timeline is off, Moses. So let me go to Maurice for a second, right? Prayers to wherever you at, Maurice, right now, okay? Because I think you need them, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like the male version of Kimmy. This kumbaya, let's all come together. And basically so you could clear Sunny name. And Marsau looking at him like, that ain't gonna happen. Like that's not gonna clear the name, number one. For one, the act itself is dirty enough that there's nothing that you can say to clear the name, because it's going to make you look like a liar. And then on top of that, Destiny is not going to clear Sunny's name. So like Marsau looking at Maurice like, what are you talking about? Also, what Marsau said, it literally like a light bulb went off in my head, right? And that's actually the motivation of my sign right here, right? He said the last time I was having a conversation with someone like this, it was Martell Holt. He didn't listen, and you see where he at. Right? And Moses, you can see that he's not really listening to Marsau. He's basically like, man, it's basically been hard my whole life. I know what hard is. You know what I mean? And Marsau's like, trust me, it penetrates. Moses is the new Martell of the show. Right? And when I say new Martell, I do not mean that they are alike in the sense of, we know what Martell troubles is. Right? But I think Moses is brought in to basically be a new version, a younger version, big muscles, handsome guy, has some trouble when it comes to basically he was in a relationship and he was in another relationship at the same time without all the criminal stuff that Martell does. Okay. So in a way, you still get Martell, but it's like Martell 2.0. That's what Moses is, in my opinion. Basically a new villain that we can actually feel good liking or disliking without the revenge, corn, and all that other stuff that Martell brings. Moses not gonna listen. he just not. Because to him, he's basically saying that Destiny should have did a better job keeping me. He's basically putting the onus on Destiny of why Destiny lost him. You know. One thing I would like to point out. I would like Marsau and Maurice to get stories. I do not want them to be the counselors of the show. This is multiple episodes now to where they're going to Martell's house, and now they in black talking to Moses, and they basically are the counselors and basically the mentors of the men. What's y'all storyline? Right. I need to know. Hey, Marsau, are you building your house? What are y'all doing with the business? Maurice, how is the restaurant business or whatever y'all doing? But overall, I think this is just the foundation of basically Marsau is setting it up, as he always do, to say, I told you so. And he ain't going to hold his tongue when it comes to saying I told you so.
All right. Well, we move on to Latricia and Ken.
Yeah.
So they're working out, and they invite Stormi and Courtney to come work out with them.
Yeah.
So apparently they work out 2 to 3 times a day. Stormi has a dream of doing a fitness competition, which I thought was, kind of interesting to learn. So we kind of move on into the scene, and Trish and Stormi are talking, and Trisha talks about how she was mad at life. We learn a little bit about her history. So her parents passed away 6 months apart, and then she lost her sister. She was very angry, and the people that she thought were going to be in her corner were not there, and it was actually outsiders that were there for her. With her ex-husband, he showed his true colors at the time that she really needed him, and half of the colors were red flags. She says it's now hard for her to get close to people because she doesn't want a situation to where she's going to be there for people and people won't be there for her.
Okay.
She would be so full of rage and get quiet when she first got with Ken. She wouldn't say anything at first, and then when she would get mad, she would just blow up. And then Courtney and Ken, they're having a separate conversation in the gym, and pretty much Courtney is like saying to Ken, "Oh, she's always been like that. Her and her sisters have always kind of been bullies in a way." And Ken is just like, "Yeah, she tried to bully me in our relationships, but the arguments that we had, they were really just about her anger and controlling her temper."
Yeah.
Stormi says that it's good she's got a man who can take it. Stormi talked about how she was stabbing walls and stuff like that. Went from stabbing grass to stabbing walls. And Courtney basically was the type to just let her get it out and move on from the situation. So Ken and Trisha have been together for a little over 2 years. And Latisha says they still have some hurdles. One of the hurdles being that she hasn't finished the paperwork for the divorce yet.
What?
And she told Ken about her marriage situation about 4 or 5 months into their relationship. Ken and his ex were living together when they got together, and he was going through his own situation, so he really wasn't judgmental of what she had going on. And then Stormi moves on to ask her to borrow her body because she's got this new line. She's got this body butter that she has. So I think she's going to try to use her for the body butter.
What are your thoughts on this scene, Blair?
My thoughts, I felt like we got to learn more about Latisha and Ken, and I did feel like we had a little bit more insight into Latisha and learning about who she is. I still don't know if she's going to be able to bring it for the show because she does seem like such a closed off person, and that might be kind of like talking out two sides of my neck, pretty much saying that she opened up, but she still seems closed off. And it's because I felt like she opened up, but I also felt like it wasn't a lot of detail. It was vague enough, I guess, it was what she was comfortable sharing. But it was enough for us to kind of grasp what her history is. And I don't know. I don't really know how this couple's going to bring it. They just seem like pretty chill, regular people. So I guess I just kind of have to wait and see. So
this leads me to think like, okay, Stormi, we already know what Stormi be doing, right? She talk about she's stabbing. She used to take scissors and stab the wall and stuff like that whenever she get angry. And Trisha talk about how she used to get mad and stab the wall too. And I'm like, what is wrong with y'all women? Y'all need therapy or Jesus, whichever one comes first, you know? It leads me to think like, why did you wait 4 months in the relationship with Ken to tell him that you wasn't divorced? Even though he had his own situation, right? Why didn't you be more forthcoming in that? That leads me to think like, oh, you don't really like to deal with things head on. You like to sometimes hold some things in, which kind of lets me guess like, oh, when it comes to you feeling angry or you feeling some type of way, even when she was talking about how she was talking last episode, talk about how sometimes she wish she can just like, you know, her and King can just get things out. I'm like, what type of couple y'all? Are y'all the type to like because y'all both have secrets, y'all just don't have the right to like basically be mad at each other's secrets? But I'm like, that's gonna be a problem eventually because now you got Courtney over there walking on the treadmill because he said, I'm not lifting no weights. And he basically said, how long y'all been together? Is there any like, you know, is there any wedding bells that's going to happen? And then it's like, well, you really can't marry her because she's technically still married. You know what I mean? So and then you ask Trisha from Trisha POV, and she's like, well, one of the hurdles is my ex is like is basically my ex-husband. I'm like, well, your husband. Right. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I wonder, are y'all the type to keep putting things off, thinking it's going to solve itself? I would think the priority is whatever the problem is, Trisha, I don't know what it is, that you get it squared away as soon as you can. You can't lift these problems away. You can't diet these problems away. You need to head on, if it's therapy or if it's divorce, whatever it is, eventually it's going to come up. and it's going to come out in other toxic ways. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, next, Chris visits Martell at his investment property.
Yeah.
Chris has someone who might be interested, so we get like a little bit of business talk before we get into the mess. Uh-huh. So Chris and Nell talked, of course, and Chris thinks Nell deserves an apology for Martell calling her a side chick. Mm-hmm. And Chris explains that he was separated on paper and Nell was never a side chick. Martell eventually says that he won't call her that, and they kind of shake on it.
Yeah, eventually.
Yes. Chris asked about, so what was this picture or this video about with Mel? And Martell denies the video, and then Chris asks, okay, well, was it a picture or a screenshot from the video? Was anyone naked on it? Mm-hmm. And Martell says, ask Melody to see what it was.
No, I'm asking you, though.
Because he says he got rid of the picture, video, whatever it was.
What?
And Chris asks him, man to man, what's the resolution? Mm-hmm. And Martell says, what's it going to take for her to stop?
What?
Chris says again, I'm asking you, what's the resolution? Martell says that he makes mistakes, but then he backtracked and said, well, the text message wasn't a mistake because he was being bullied. So pretty much from Martell's side, there is no resolution. It all is based off of what Mel does.
What are your thoughts?
I think that's very childish and immature of Martell, but he's shown himself to be childish and immature. So at this point, we can't really expect much of him. I appreciate Chris for trying to hold him accountable because it seems like nobody does. And it seemed like Chris was trying to get to the bottom of it to get Martell to speak some truth.
Yeah.
But Martell just refuses to. So I think that at a certain point, we probably do need to see less and less of Martell because he really isn't bringing anything of value. So
I'm telling you, y'all better start loving Moses. Moses is Martell 2.0. He's basically going to have the same characteristics of Martell without the criminal stuff. You get what I'm saying? The lies, the bad timeline and things like that, but just without the criminal stuff so you don't feel so bad about liking him. I'm telling y'all. Martell, in this scene, Chris is basically like, so we friends, right? We friends enough that I can tell you when to apologize to my wife, right? We friends enough to where you can subpoena me to court. Right. You know what I'm saying? We friends enough to where if this is your investment property, Martell, if someone wants to buy it, I'll let you know, and they could go to my wife's daycare right down the street. Right. So as friend, when I'm coming to you and I'm asking you directly what happened, right? And you're telling me the same storyline that you told my wife, you're saying the same storyline that you told Marsau and Maurice, and basically the world. Chris asked the questions that a friend would ask because it's direct and it gets straight to the point.
Right.
First, Marsau said that he ain't got a video, right? He said Melody got the video, right? Which we already know that's a lie, right? Or basically he said Melody's the only one who got the video. We already know that's a lie. And then he said, hey, pull up the text. Pull out your phone. Let me see. And he was like, you ain't see? Ask Melody to show you. I'm like, I'm not talking to Melody.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So all these things that Chris was asking, this is when it benefits being an older person, right? Someone who's over 50, who live life and stuff like that, who have teenage kids, who have adult kids. Because this reminds me of a parent basically questioning their kid and things like that. Hey, what happened in the text? What did you say in the text? To the point to where, and he even said it had to be something to the point that you got arrested now. It just can't be nothing.
Yeah.
Because you're telling me nothing and you're telling me it was nothing, but yet it was enough that the cops felt the need to put an arrest warrant out for you. So that in itself is a lie. Hey, I got a son that been arrested.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what I mean? And guess what? We still got his dog.
Yeah.
So don't give me the run around about like it's nothing. So when I ask you, is it a video? Okay, it's not a video. Did you send a picture of the video? Okay. Was there any nudity in the picture? And he just kept pressing to the point where I felt like Martell was uncomfortable with the questions because eventually each lie is just making the box smaller and smaller and smaller that he can't escape.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, yo, be prepared. For this season, I may be wrong, but be prepared for this season to be the last season that y'all see Martell Holt. I'm telling y'all. Because it's to the point where he's lying to people now over criminal stuff. Right? I know Martell always been crazy. I know Martell always been
dishonest.
And we can live with that, right? With the crazy, dishonest, scum even, But once it starts getting into the season starting off with Melanie with a security team putting cameras around her house so she could feel safe because she got a criminal ex-husband. Now we are in a position where do we value Martell or do we value Melody?
And at this point, we know he's been convicted. So it kind of adds more fuel to the fire of how are we handling this Martell situation. So
and listen, last week I told Kimmy and Tisha to pick a side, right? Mm-hmm. Now I'm telling Carlos, pick a side. You get what I'm saying? Now you are in a position to where, unfortunately, and even when I tell Carlos this, I'm not putting the onus on him, right? Martell has made this bed as uncomfortable as possible. I feel like Melody could have recorded a show with her ex-husband if he was just a regular ex-husband.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But he had done everything in his power to not be a regular ex-husband. Mm-hmm. So now it's to the point to where maybe your employee / producer feel unsafe filming with him, right? To the point where you ain't see Melody at all this episode, right? It's causing division in the cast, which would cause eventually division in your show. So now it's like, do we pick Martell or do we pick Melody? And I already know who we go pick.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Anything else on that scene?
Nope.
This is the scene of the night that's about to come up because I'm troubled. I'm very troubled with this next scene because I'm a guy of standards. I have some morals, right? Yes. But I'm having a hard time tapping into them when it comes to this scene. Help me out with the scene, Blair.
So Destiny meets up for her sit down with Moses.
Yes.
He tells her he's open to conversation to clear things up. He wants to set the record straight so people don't look down or talk bad about his wife.
What?
Moses admits that he was immature about the conversations that he wasn't willing to have with Destiny. He doesn't think Sonny and him did anything wrong to Destiny. And he even says they had her best interest in mind.
Whoa. Listen, I like this new Martell. I'm telling you, man. Keep going.
Destiny thinks that he did what he did to be hurtful. Mm-hmm. Moses didn't feel Destiny showed her the interest he needed. She missed his birthday party.
Wow.
He says Sonny and him started dating after Destiny, and he says they started talking in August. He says he broke it off with her in April. And Destiny says, ain't no way.
No way.
You sent me money in August. From April to August, you were texting me, telling me you love me, how much you care about me. And she says she can pull up the text messages, and he said, well, go ahead and pull it up then. At one point, Destiny even says during the conversation that you wanted me to court you like you was my girlfriend. What's up with that? So I think Moses went into this conversation very, very ill prepared. He just went in with the thought that Maurice put in his head of clear things up so Sonny looks okay. Except Sonny's not going to look okay because things weren't clear from the jump in the situation at hand.
Facts.
Things were messy. Things weren't clear. He even says that when he broke up with Destiny, he didn't really ever break up with her. He kind of just like fell off from her. And apparently with Sonny said he was talking to multiple women. So things aren't going to get cleared up for Sonny because everything was messy from jump. So.
And here's the thing. You don't have to clear nothing up for Sonny because Sonny accepts the role of the villain. She don't want things to be. There's only one thing that needs to be clear. I'm the wife.
Yep.
That's all Sonny care about, right? The thing that make it tricky, let me go back a couple scenes, which made me go, "Ooh, boy, this is actually more messier than I thought." He said they got married sometime in December, I think it was, and then they asked him, so when do y'all do the IVF thing? He said immediately right after. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's
telling.
It's very telling, right? But let me tell you about this scene of why I'm having a hard time like feeling bad for Destiny, right? Or just feeling bad for this situation, because I feel for Destiny. I don't hate Destiny the way y'all hate Destiny. I don't get it, right? In a way, he did not break up a happy home. He was your boyfriend. How he got with somebody else was dirty. It was messy, and I feel like y'all trying to sell me on what Moses and Sonny did was so dirty and so messy. And I'm like, how messy can it really be if there's no kids involved? How messy can it really be if there's no divorce involved? How messy can it really be if it's just like, I understand girl code and the things of that, where Sunny was basically portraying herself to be basically a friend or closer than a friend, more like a sister to Destiny. But at the end of the day, you left with what you came in with. And I'm trying to feel empathy, but it's not giving to me with this scene. Am I off?
For me, I feel differently. I don't think that being in a marriage or having children is the barometer of what makes a situation hurtful or messy. I think that if you had a relationship with somebody and you all agreed to be exclusive, for them to go about handling you a certain way can be a betrayal. Okay. And it can be as bad a betrayal as a divorce or anything that might involve kids, because it still hurts you individually. So I get what you're saying, that, you know, you don't have those higher stakes, so maybe it isn't as impactful. Yeah. But I think for Destiny and Moses, it was a real relationship, that somebody that she trusted and had to share a lot of her business with, which we see Destiny has a hard time doing that, that it really was a backstab. And I think Destiny's handling it well, but I don't think it's any less just because she wasn't married to him. I think at some point we do kind of have to move on from it, because he's married now, they're working on kids. And that's what I'm saying. And I agree that we do have to move on from it. But I think that the whole point of Destiny being back on is to put this situation on camera, you know, and to make something of it, so Destiny has something to talk about, and for there to be a storyline for the season. Because like you said, everybody else really hasn't brought anything except for Martell and Mel. So yeah. So I mean, I think it's worthy of talking about and kind of getting to the bottom of. But I do think that this shouldn't be a drawn out whole season situation.
Yeah. I think I'm putting myself in their shoes, to where I'm like, I'm not having even though it's a show and I understand it's a show, I'm not trying to break the fourth wall, but I'm like, is a conversation with an ex-girlfriend worth it? No. I could get it if they was engaged. And then, like, he, like, you know, because to me, too, like your point, it doesn't matter if the stakes are that much higher. But it's like this sit down of trying to come to the meeting of the minds. I'm just like, yo, he was your boyfriend. He did you wrong. He got with another girl, married that girl. I don't understand why y'all need to talk about this. Yeah. Like I'm like, it's not like he betrayed you in a way. This is not Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats. Like this is not that. Swiss Beats was married to another woman. You get what I'm saying? And that's why y'all give Alicia Keys the home record title and things like that. And I'm like, this is not that. This is literally, they was dating and he left the relationship, even though they wasn't engaged and wasn't married. He left the relationship and married another girl. Yes, it's hurtful, but I'm like, home record, I'm not getting it. But I will say this though. I don't know how many conversations Sunny is going to allow Moses to have with Destiny without Sunny being there. Yeah. Hey, dude, you get what I'm saying? And maybe they are basically coming together to come up with this storyline and stretching it as much as possible. But I don't think it was a productive conversation, because Moses came in there lying. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Moses came in there with the intention not to be remorseful for his actions. You know what I mean? So it already led to it not to be a resolve. Right. And then for it to be stretched out to where it's like to be continued. I'm like, oh my goodness, we gonna start next episode back here. Yes. You get what I'm saying? I'm like, oh my, y'all stretching these. Y'all trying to make lemonade out of lemons. And y'all trying to stretch something that can be had in one conversation, in one scene, to more. And I understand that's TV, that's business. But this just seems so simplistic to me. You know what I mean? Anything else you thought about this episode? What is your thoughts overall on this episode?
The episode, I didn't feel like it was really given much. You know, it's just more conversations and rehashing of situations from previous episodes. So I'm just looking forward to what's going to happen in the next episode.
Well, if that's the case, what are you looking forward to this season then? Because it seems like we're stretching some things out.
Well, at least from the previews, I'm interested to see Tisha having her confrontation with Stormi. Okay. And I really don't know why Tisha is calling Nell her full government name, but I'm curious to know why. Yeah. So just from those previews, I'm just like, there is stuff going on with the ladies, and I kind of want to get down to business about what's going on with that. So yeah.
I know in the preview they showed Martell and like Trisha potentially know each other. But I'm like, that could be TV. Maybe they just train in the same gym. Who knows? You know what I mean? I don't know what I'm looking forward to this season. I need more storylines from the main cast. And when I say main cast, I'm talking about Maurice and Kimmy, Tisha and Marcel, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to put that burden on even Sonny and Moses to lead this season. I'm definitely not. I'll be a fool to put that burden on Ken and Trisha. You get what I'm saying? I need more from y'all to give us something this season. As if the season's still being shot, you know what I mean? But
and we're only in episode 4. So.
Yeah, and we got 72 more to go.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
This show lasts a while.
Yeah. So, but no. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know if y'all feeling me on my theory of basically Martell out, Moses in. You know what I mean? Let me know what y'all think about this episode. Let me know about what y'all think about the Destiny and Moses situation. And I'm just insensitive to her situation because they was never engaged and they was never married. Or are you feeling what I'm feeling? You know? Let me know what y'all think. Y'all be good.
All right. Bye-bye.